Well, hello. I'm Mike Mease, the co-founder of the Buffalo Field Campaign, and I'd like to welcome you to our yurt. Unfortunately, due to monsoon rains, heavy snowfall, and the buffalo hiding in the woods to keep out of this weather, we had to bring our show to you indoors today. I don't know if any of you got the opportunity to watch the last video, but it was a beautiful piece. I had the honor of working with Dana Lyons that we produced, and I hope you had an opportunity to see it. But what it really does is show how abusive things used to be here in the spring. We used to have 300 buffalo come out to Horse Butte, the central herd, the important ones, the original members of the 30 to 60 million that used to roam continent North America. And they come out to Horse Butte to have their babies. And back in those days, they'd use helicopters, ATVs, horses, 4x4 trucks, basically anything but their feet, and run these poor buffalo 7 miles to the park boundary and another 8 miles back into the park. And this was the introduction to life to these poor little calves or these moms bursting at the seams, ready to give birth. And they would continue to run them back and forth through this sacred time. Of course, when you bring a helicopter into the Yellowstone ecosystem in the spring, you can't selectively pick one species to harass. And all the birds are migrating back and nesting. And so when that helicopter flew 20 feet off the Madison River, havoc was raised on the entire ecosystem. Well, one day after this massive haze, we got a phone call from somebody that lived out on the south side of the Madison River. And they said, hey, we have a little calf buffalo sitting in our yard and there's no adults with it. And I was wondering if you guys could do anything. So it was later in the day. We had just been out in the field documenting a hazing operation. And we got home and the sun was almost setting. But we told the gentleman we'd come over and check out the situation. So we got to his house, and sure enough, there's this little 2-week-old calf buffalo laying in his yard. And it had a little mark under his neck, and of course we don't know what happened, but when you watch these helicopters run buffalo through barbed wire fences, you know casualties are certainly going to happen. And we just guessed that this poor calf had run into the fence and fell down, passed out, and the herd had been pushed forward and it came to and it was all alone in the wilderness. So we told the gentleman, you know, if this calf survives the night, because we can't really do anything in the dark, we'll come over and see what we can do to help the situation. Because we all know a calf buffalo alone in the Yellowstone wilderness without any parents to protect it has a 0% chance of survival. Well, morning came and we got this great phone call. Hey, that calf's still over in my yard. And of course, the Montana Department of Livestock back in those days, when they came to town, they hazed 5 days a week and went home on the weekends. So they were busy out hazing more buffalo off Highway 287. And so we were able to drive over to the gentleman's house and see what we could do for the calf. And of course, you know, we had a master plan and we were going to implement it. But as in life, many of your plans, this being a good example, were inside instead of out. They don't always go as you hope them to. So we got there and I got down on all fours and I crawled up to the buffalo, speaking a couple words I've learned throughout the years in buffalo, and this little guy perked up. He had a friend. He had somebody that was coming to comfort him. But then, unfortunately, when one went to implement our plan, he stepped on the rock, and all the buffalo jumped up, and all trust came out the window before he was able to put the blanket over the calf, and it started running. And we, all 4 of us, were chasing this buffalo, and it kept running. And it ran until it finally came to the Hebgen Lake. And it jumped in the lake and started swimming out. And, you know, once again, I can't really tell you what these buffalo are thinking, but I gotta think he's like, I am not swimming across this whole lake to get away from this dummy. So they turn around and come back. And when he's coming to shore is when I finally had the opportunity. I scooped down and I picked it up. And these calves look so light and fluffy, don't they? And well, a baby buffalo calf weighs 50 pounds at birth, and then this one is wet on top of it. And about that time, we realized we have to carry this buffalo about a half mile back to the truck. Well, we finally get there and we put the calf in the back, and it was a closed cab pickup truck, so we had it in the back, but it was running around scared as could be. I was a little nervous it was going to get injured, so I hopped in the back and put it on my lap as we slowly meandered down this dirt road till we came to what we thought was a perfect solution. And on the side of the road were 6 mama buffalo with 6 just brand new born calves. So we stopped the car and we put the calf out. And then the calf came up, and it was walking a different direction than the mamas and the buffalo, and we realized our presence was probably making this not work too well. So we jumped in the cars and we left. Well, me being the curious type, I kind of had to know what happened, so I waited 2 hours, and then I drove back out there, and I found their trail, and I tracked them for about 1.5 miles until out on the edge of a sandy beach on the Madison River lies 6 mama buffalo with 7 little calves. And that, my friends, is a true buffalo story. So stories are the best way to spread the word and make people understand these different things. And I had the honor of starting this campaign back in 1997 with the sacred Lakota elder. Her name is Rosalie Little Thunder. And I'd like to burn a little sweetgrass in memory of her right now. And she now guides us from above. About 8 years she passed to a different plane. And we've never forgotten our roots and what we think. And, you know, right now we come from a world where we don't really understand a lot of the natural things because we've all been so far separated from it for so long. And Rosalie, when we first started this, she came up to me and she said, Mike, I come from a nation of people that call themselves Tatankoyate. And the easiest or the best that it translates into your language is, I come from the Buffalo Nation. And these are not animals to me and my people. They're our relatives, and that's how sacred they are. And other tribes have the same relationship with these sacred animals. The Blackfeet, they call the buffalo a niwa. And that translates into English as meaning everything. Can we understand that concept? That one species meant everything to a whole nation of people. And that's how sacred these animals are to the Plains tribes that depended on them for their life. And we've reinstilled that culture through keeping people like James Holt, our executive director, who comes from the Nimipu tribe, or what we call them as Terps. We also have Dallas, who comes from the Fort Peck Reservation, on our board of directors, and Orville and Paula Looking Horse, who guide us from afar and have been a part of this campaign from its inception. So in these steps we walk every day of knowing all the people that honor our work, pray for us, and know that we're part of the solution to this problem that we have here in Yellowstone. So enough of that sad stuff, and we'll move on to something a little more cheerful. The beautiful thing about this hazing operations and that helicopter disturbing the whole ecosystem is about 17, or what was it? I think it was 12 years ago, we were able to get video footage of one of the helicopter hazing operations hazing a grizzly bear. And because they were protected under the Endangered Species Act, all the federal agencies quit funding the helicopter, and that helicopter has not been up in the air again. And the buffalo now can go back when the mamas say the calves are ready to go home. So the Yellowstone ecosystem really is an ideal habitat for these buffalo, right? This is the place that they ran away and hid to flee extinction. 23 hid in the backwoods of what is now known as Yellowstone National Park, because all the rest were killed and gone. And we sent out the U.S. Cavalry to protect them for a year and a half, and then we started the National Park System. But really, Yellowstone Park is a reservation. These plains animals are needed back out on the plains to heal our earth. This is not their natural ecosystem, and our earth is calling for them to come back. For these buffalo, as studies are showing time and time again, are a big solution to this global warming problem we have. For they re-till the earth, replant the soil to be the carbon filter that it once was. And when we free these buffalo, we will also help create a solution to this poor problem our children are going to have to face. So the main reason we're here today, too, just to let you know, is we had a giant financial burden come upon us this year that we certainly weren't expecting. Now, it's a good thing, but we also need to hopefully recoup a little of the money. All 9 of our cabins had to be rewired because the wiring was so old and dangerous that our insurance company would no longer insure us. So they said it would come in about 30 and it came in about 50,000. So we're trying to do a little bit of a fundraiser as well as storytelling and also thanking you. I mean, my goodness, I've had the honor of being in the field, doing my best to protect them for the last 27 years straight. And it isn't just me. It's over 6,000, or I think we're up to almost 7,000 volunteers now. Someone from every state in the United States, countries as far as Israel, Australia, Nepal, all over Europe. And they come here to be part of protecting the buffalo. But we all know we could never be here without the great support of the people that send in the donations and honor our work and give us that beautiful gift so that we can stand in the field and protect them. Because these buffalo are, as we all know, something very sacred, something very important. And we've replaced them all on this continent with the domestic cows from Europe. And I think we can have room for both. And until we understand that the Montana Department of Livestock is the root cause of all of this. I've seen a lot in the press how we're trying to blame the Native Americans. And the bottom line is, look at the hypocrisy of that statement. We wipe out all the buffalo to 23, they start to rebound and they start to feed themselves and reinstill a 100-year lost culture. And they're the ones that are the problem. It's the livestock industry that set all the boundaries, that has no tolerance, that refer to these animals as an animal in need of disease control. Hence, they have no labeling or protections of being a wildlife species. And as long as we want to infight with each other, we're never going to go after the proper enemy and solve this. So just remember, when you have your next McDonald's hamburger, that, buffalo are dying for this. And, one thing that really kind of gets under my nerves is how much land and everything that these cows do take to be on this earth. I mean, between what land they need to live on, what food we need to grow to feed them. They occupy almost a quarter of the entire landmass of the world. Now, I think we could get back to some of the original species that know how to live here and take care of the planet. And so that's why we fight for these sacred buffalo. In November of 2014, through the hard work of my brother Daryl Geis and so many others, we filed for an endangered species listing. Here we are 10 years later, and they just told us they're going to delay this process another 2 years because these animals are not in threat. And that's who we have in the bureaucratic arenas protecting our wildlife. So we have to be the catalyst for change, and we have to work together with all the people that care so that we can unite to be that voice for the voiceless, that we can care and do something to create change, to make things happen in our lifetime. And these buffalo have so much to offer us. I mean, when I have the honor of being with them, spending time, being and listening and learning from them, they have so much to teach us. In the buffalo world, all the buffalo are just as important. They have lead buffalo, but they're burdened with the job of taking care of everyone in the herd. Because in the buffalo world, everyone counts as much as each other. You look at the winter times, and those buffalo walk through the thick 6-foot snows out in Hayden Valley. And they'll go in single file. And the lead buffalo, he or she will walk until they're out of energy, because that's where the whole burden lies, to break through the barrier. And she or he will jump to the side and let the procession go on. And then they'll jump in the back, where everything is easiest. And the one in the second will be the lead. And so they share the burden of survival together. And that is a beautiful thing. And then once they pave the road through the middle of the Hayden Valley, the deer use it, the elk use it, the wolves use it. And they've created an ecosystem for everyone to survive these harsh Montana winters we have out here in Yellowstone. So these animals also work in a herd. You've probably seen how when the predators come and their new calves are born, they form a circle, and all the adults will stand on the outside, and all the calves and little ones will be protected on the inside. And that's how they defend their young ones. When one is shot in a herd or one dies, they actually have a ritual of mourning where they walk up and they'll first try and lift their brother or sister with their horns. Then they'll realize that their brother or sister has passed, and they'll all come around and they'll form a circle around their past brother or sister. I don't know what they say, what their prayers are, but it's very obvious they have a ceremony. And we all too often write off animals as having no feelings, no emotions, no compassion. But I think anyone that owns a pet knows that's a little bit of BS. These animals have a purpose on this planet. And as Rosalie used to tell me, the buffalo know their place in this world. They know their function. They know what they're supposed to do. It's we humans, the two-leggeds, that have lost our way and don't know how to act anymore. Further thought philosophy that this earth that we live on would give us everything we needed to live until we had to turn industrial and take it all away. Mother Earth is a provider for us. She gives everything we need to sustain ourselves, and it hurts my heart when I see all this energy of giving up on trying to save this planet and go to Mars to live in a different one to destroy. I think that if we were real true earthlings and united and compassionate individuals, we would want to leave a future for our children. What kind of society would destroy everything that all life on their planet needs to live? We pollute our air without question. We pollute our water to different standards of toxicity. Our food, we have two-tiered food system. We let the peasants eat the pesticide-filled vegetables, and if you're rich enough, you can eat organic food. These are things that in our culture we need to change. We need to do things that are right for all people if we want to change this world in the right direction. And the foundation of the original beauty is this nature. So we'll be out here fighting as long as you all help us and give us that power to be out in the field and make some change. And we're just honored that you give us this ability to be in the field. And many people have come here, and been part of this. Like I said, over 7,000. Some have met their mates here, They come here and they meet the partner of their choice and they've gone off to start families. Other people have come here and spent many years and gone off to be doctors, lawyers. People learn here how to be activists, how to change the world. And they've come here and learned different tactics and went home and implemented and started their own nonprofit groups to change the world. And that is the power of the buffalo too, because the buffalo bring people together and we create this change together. So back to our original thoughts here. If you guys can help us in any way financially, unfortunately, it does take that to keep the ship afloat here. And now that we're all safe with electricity, we do have the honor of going out in the field right now and saving buffalo. And the beauty of what we have here is just people coming together from all over the world to work together for one common goal that isn't for any of our own selfish gain or greed, but it's to do something for something bigger than us. It's to do something to be remembered forever. It's to do something to show the world this atrocity is occurring and for us to be able to unite to create this change we oh so need. So as we sit here and kind of talk, and I have to share this with you, that it was about, we had been going at this about 15 years, and it was summertime, July 2nd, and it was a horrible year. They had killed 1,600 buffalo in 1 year. And it was just depressing as hell. And I was kind of sitting at home reflecting, and it's like, man, your kids have we done anything in these 15 years? Are we making any change? It just doesn't seem like anything's going on. And do the buffalo even know we're doing anything for them? I was just frustrated, and all of a sudden, and July is a time too when the buffalo migrated back into Yellowstone and started to gather for their rut. So it's rare for us to have buffalo out on our property in July 2nd. But out of nowhere, on the hill in the house and area above us, a big bull buffalo came dropping down the hill. He walked right into our yard and came over to my cabin. He walked in, and then he walked behind on the side of my cabin and laid down underneath a tree. And I was like, wow, this is a sign. And I was very touched and moved by the scenario, because of all the places in the entire Yellowstone ecosystem this buffalo could have gone, he came right in my backyard and bedded down. Well, as I started to kind of come out of my haze, I started to realize the situation that was at hand. And I looked up the hill where the buffalo had come, and all of a sudden Montana Department of Livestock came up to this house. Second to come was Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. And then the third car to arrive was Gallatin County Sheriff. And they had a little talk up there with each other, and then they started to disperse. And the game warden, Jim Smolzinski, came driving up our driveway, and I walked out to meet him so he wouldn't come up here and see this buffalo, because they like to mess with buffalo. So I go out there, and Jim says, "Mike, have you seen a road bull buffalo?" And I said, "Why, Jim? What's going on here?" He said, "Mike, you know that woman up on the hill, and not many of us know her, but we all know her little Chihuahua dog. Now, this Chihuahua dog has a serious Napoleon complex, meaning it attacks anything bigger than it, which is about everything when you're Chihuahua size. Well, in this naivety, this little Chihuahua decided to take on a 2,000-pound bull buffalo. Well, guess what? The little Chihuahua learned how to fly. Now, for any of you Chihuahua lovers out there in the audience, I just want you to know this Chihuahua got a few scrapes, bumps, and bruises and humbled, but it lives to annoy more people to this day. So, Jim, I said, "Yeah, I saw that buffalo. He came walking right through our property, and he went down valley, and if you go down there, you just might find him." Well, he took back off and radioed the other two officers, and they were combing everyone's house in the neighborhood, driving up and down every damn street, going back and forth, peeking through people's windows. There was no place they looked except my backyard. So they went on for about 3 hours, and finally they took off. And about that time, not 5 minutes later, that big bull buffalo got up out of my yard, walked into the front yard, left me a little present out the back end for me to remember him by, and meandered on down valley where I had told Jim he had gone. Well, the 4th of July, my family comes up here, and we usually will be in the 4th of July parade and, making, it was a good thing for me and my family to take part in, and they started arriving. And right as they're all arriving, the buffalo came back in, walked through our yard, and walked right up the hill to where said Chihuahua incident occurred. So I grabbed my video camera, my nieces and nephew behind me. I looked like Mother Duckling running up the hill, and we stood guard and watched that buffalo until the sun went down, because we knew, no matter how crazy these guys are, they're not going to shoot buffalo at night in the middle of a housing area. Well, morning came, and of course we needed to know what happened to our little friend that had visited us. So we jumped in the car and we drove a couple miles down to Red Canyon. Sure enough, there was the Montana Department of Livestock out on an ATV, and Jim Smolzinski and the horse trying to push this buffalo back into Red Canyon where they could shoot him where no one would see it. Well, on this fabulous day, this buffalo was having none of it. He ran between the horse and the ATV, and he kept running. He ran across Highway 287, and he kept running. He ran through the Holiday RV parking lot and disturbed some picnickers and kept on running. He jumped into Hebgen Lake, swam across the Narrows, ran up Horse Butte, and has not been seen again to this day. And that, my friends, is another true buffalo story. Well, I hope I'm not putting anyone to sleep out there. I am trying to be a little goofy in all this. But back to the thought of, what maybe you can do besides just helping us out financially. And I hate asking for that. But we have opportunities all over our website where you can get involved from afar. You can set up video showings and help spread the word to save the herd. Get newsletters sent to you. We have a tabling kit that you can do to help do outreach in your communities. We also like volunteers. To date, as I've said, we've had actually over 7,000 people come here on site, and it's a pretty good deal. All you have to do is pay to come here and get home, and we'll feed you, And we cater to every diet known to humans anymore, as I've been learning a lot about diets throughout my years here. We also are sponsored by phenomenal groups like Patagonia, and we have the best outdoor gear in the world. We have boots, we have skis and ski boots, and we'll outfit you and we'll get you out in the field with the buffalo. And that season basically goes from November until 2 weeks from now, the end of May. And we'll be completing our 27th year in the field at the end of in 2 weeks here. So it's quite an achievement. The other times a year are the spring and what's going on now. Right now, our biggest problem the buffalo face is that they migrate out of the park over to Horse Butte, which is National Forest, and unfortunately, Highway 191 is right in the middle of their migratory corridor. So we have a lot of work on our website being done to get safe passage corridors, and I invite you to check that out. But what we do hands-on is something I'm very proud of. First off, last year, we had a really epidemic problem. We had snow berms along the entire highway that were between 5 and 7 feet tall. So I called the highway department in Helena for the state of Montana and talked them into helping us punch holes where they migrate through to the river. And they put little dents in there, and then BFC volunteers dug canals so that the buffalo could all reach the river. And rivers in the winter are their saving grace, because no matter how tall the snow is, they can walk into the river and get a break from breaking through snow. And also there's abundance of food. The grass is all along the creeks and rivers. And so after we dug those, every buffalo that came out during that time the snow was still here used these canals. And it was nothing but a success story. And otherwise they would have been on the highways all night and been getting killed. So, and that's what we're doing right now. Every day we have 3 patrols. People go out in the morning. They'll see where the buffalo are, do a count so that we have it in our database and are able to do different things with that, like our endangered species listing, different lawsuits. And then they will hang up. We have signs that go on the mile marker post, and they also go on the ones in between the mile marker post. I don't remember the name of those, but so we're able to put signs up that say buffalo on highway. And during the day, we put the signs up, but the only time we're really worried during the day is when they're on sharp curves or coming off a hill, and then we'll stay out and warn traffic with the signs. We also have an afternoon patrol that does the same thing. They relieve them and go out. But the one I'm most proud of is night patrol. And night patrol is incredible. They go out about an hour before sunset, and we'll go check all the places on the highway and make sure that the buffalo are safe and off the highway. And some nights are harder than others because the signs don't work. And sometimes we'll implement a technique I refer to as shepherding. And we'll slowly walk the buffalo at their pace off of the highways into a safe area that has grass and food for them. One night, and it was kind of neat because it was the first night we ever had our board of directors, Dallas, here. And my friend Jules and I, all 3 went out with Dallas, and it was a night I'll never forget. There were 100+ buffalo on Rainbow Point Road, and they were actually they were at least 100, and they dropped me off, and I started walking them off the road so that they'd get out. And Dallas and Jules hopped in the car, and they drove back and dealt with 2 separate herds of 8 that they had to get off the road. Then we had a herd out on 287 that we had to go out to, and they were kind of in and out of the road. And then we found a herd coming right over Fur Ridge on this dangerous curve. And so we dealt with the ones on 287, and then when it was pitch black, this one herd just came out and would not stop coming out of the road. Semi trucks were coming down off the hill, going as fast as they could, and I had to run the car in front of them to stop this herd. Dallas pushed them from the south, and we were able to move that herd into a house and area and off the highway for the night. So that night, you go home and you're just like frustrated, nervous. You can't sleep. Oh my God, are Buffalo going to get hit tonight? Because you personally had involvement with it. But the morning when we woke up and we called our morning patrol and they told us not one buffalo was hit last night, we got to sleep a very sound sleep the following night, knowing without our efforts, without our work out there, a lot more of these buffalo would die and people get injured too. And our community and our family really everyone in our neighborhoods love us because we help them survive. I can't read that. Can you get it? I am doing it. Hi, we had a note from you guys, so I'm sorry for the brief interruption. I think I just talked about it, most of these things. People are talking about the hunt and everything this year. The hunt this year was under 50 animals. It was not much. And the mortality of them, I believe, on top of less than 50 getting shot in the hunt, the park captured 28, half went to slaughter, half went to quarantine, a domestication program. But really, last year was an atrocity. There was 1,600 buffalo killed at least, if not closer to 17 or 18 when you count the ones joining quarantine. And the reality of it all is the reason the buffalo didn't come out this year is because they didn't have to. And why is that? Because the buffalo are managing themselves now to avoid extinction. Anytime they get anywhere near that border, the Park Service captures them with baiting them in with hay and the capture facilities, and the hunters have to wait at the border and have them come into a mile square zone where they're told, if you don't kill them all, we'll capture them and ship them to slaughter. And that's because of the state of Montana and their zero tolerance for buffalo to even be recognized as a wildlife species. And the Forest Service is in on this too. They won't recognize buffalo as an animal on the landscape out here in all their scientific studies. So this is what we're up against. So people, we got to get loud and proud. We got to get our voices heard. Because the buffalo can't yell like we can. But with all you guys being involved, this is really how we change the world. So I thank you all for listening, for being part of our family, for helping us make these changes we have made throughout these years. And we are on the verge of making change. For the people that are so mad at the treaty hunters too, I want you to understand when we go to these meetings, it's only the treaty tribes that are the ones saying we need 20 to 50,000 buffalo back out on the landscape. The limitations are being set by the Department of Livestock and the Interagency Management Plan. These people never want buffalo to leave Yellowstone, and that's why we refer to it as the reservation. So these are just more facts that I think are very important. And I hope you guys are finding this useful, and I'm not boring you too much quite yet. But we got a little bit more to go and always more to talk about. Having the honor of being out in the field with these buffalo, I just can't explain that to you, Just watching them interact with each other, watching how they treat each other. Watching how they play, watch how they talk, watch how they dance. But one morning I was passed out because we used to get up there an hour before the sun came up. And in the spring, that's pretty damn early. And I'd get up on the top of Horse Butte, right? And I'll admit it, I fell asleep. And I was snoring away. And I woke up to this sound. And I kind of looked over to my right. And less than 2 feet from my head was a mama buffalo munching on grass. And I slowly looked around before I jumped up, and I slowly leaned up, and I realized I was in the middle of a herd of 50 buffalo surrounding me in every direction. And I felt so at peace. I didn't feel any threatening. I didn't feel any fear, angst. And they invited me into their family. They let me be part of them. And to feel that beautiful feeling of acceptance by a different species, by a different group, a different animal, is the most beautiful feeling I've ever got in my life. So come out here and experience these for yourself, because that's what's important. Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going?
What's up, man?
Good to see you.
How you doing?
All right, what's up?
We just got a call about some possible buffalo out on the road, so I think we're going to go check that out now on our night patrol.
Perfect, man.
Yeah, we heard from the PM patrol right before this that there were some, along the highway near Lower Bear Trap, that area.
Cool.
But hopefully we'll be able to sort of, gently encourage them to go to a safer area and whatnot.
Hey, I just want to introduce, this is Gunner. He's our volunteer coordinator. He's been here busting butt for over 3 years, and big part of our family. And here's part of the new generation. And this is David. He's doing his internship from UC Berkeley. And believe me, he's got some tickety-tock movies you guys are going to get to see.
Yeah,
And
you guys should
he's been
definitely
really
check out the
producing
TikTok.
beautiful things. But they got to get out in the field and protect some buffalo. Thanks for stopping in, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
So it's pretty beautiful, huh? I mean, this family of people that protect the buffalo come from all over the world, and I feel like one of the most spoiled, rotten people in the world, because I get all these great people to come here and visit me. I don't got to go anywhere. And, it's the honor of my life, because how many people in this world get to work and do what they believe in and what they want to do with their lives. Like, I know a lot of people, they go to work every day and they punch time cards or they sign up for their hours, and I ain't got no time clock, and I don't consider what I do work. I call it my life. And when I'm out here with these buffalo every day, it empowers me to just be stronger and fight harder for them, because I really realize that these animals have something to teach us. They have ways that they take care of each other. In the buffalo world, they're all one species. And the buffalo, they take care of one another, but they have light-skinned or light-furred buffalo, and they have dark-furred buffalo. But they don't care what color they are, because they all care about one another, and they know the importance of each one's contribution to make that herd strong and powerful and united. Now, us white are two-leggeds, which are also one species. We haven't quite figured that out. You look at any science fiction movie you've ever watched in your life, and what do they refer to us as? Earthlings. And until we can understand that concept and get along with each other and quit trying to figure out ways we can fight, we're not going to solve the problems of the world. Because what we do over here affects them over there. What we do over here affects us over here. I'll never forget when that Fukushima explosion went over, and one of the places I like to go and speak to, a dear friend of mine lives out there in Newport, Oregon. And one of those docks washed up on the shore over there. And that just should tell us all something. So we need to unite. We need to get together. My little mantra is, let's unite, not fight. Let's take care of everyone on this planet, and not just the ones that have the most. They don't need the biggest tax breaks. They don't need to be helped out. It's the people that don't have any food, don't have a house. And those buffalo teach us that too. That our job is to help leave something very powerful for our children's future. Leave them at least what we had, but we're not doing that. So let's understand the roots of our origin, and that is our Mother Earth. This Mother Earth is here to protect us all, to take care of us, to feed, clothe, and house us. And if we can't understand that and get back to that, we can't recreate this. We can't chop down a forest and make it the way it is. But we can let some buffalo get back out there and they'll make it the way it should be. We just got to work with nature and understand that that has the secrets to this world within it. And I think we're finding out more and more in our science world that ancient knowledge, traditional knowledge, is far superior to our science. The people that lived on the earth and in harmony with it knows how it functions, knows how it works. And when we wise up a little bit, maybe we'll open our ears, as Rosalie used to tell me, and listen and learn from people that maybe know a little bit more than we do. Or at least just treat them as equals, invite them to our tables, and have them be part of our conversations about solutions. Because the power of this world is our diversity, not clones. We don't need to be clones of one another. We all have brilliant minds, and when we put our minds together, we can solve any problems. I use COVID as an example. We put all our best scientists together, and we came up with a solution in less than a year. If we put all our smart scientists on global warming, maybe we could come up with a solution for that too. But half of us won't even believe that's real. So we got that dilemma in front of us. And the sad reality, it ain't the old farts like me that are going to suffer the consequence. It's our future generations. And that's why the native original people's philosophy of taking care and knowing the actions you take today will have effect on, how is it affecting 7 generations down the road? So we need to get back in that kind of thinking and quit worrying about going to Mars and starting a colony. Let's save our own damn planet, and we'll worry about the rich people. They can go live up there if that's what they want to do. We like our home down here. So, well, we're getting near the end of this, and I'm very excited you tuned in, and I hope that you go down to the bottom of the screen and click on our donation button, or maybe think about coming out here to join us in the field. Click on our volunteer button and fill out the application and come be a part of the solution as well, right here with us on the front lines. I was hoping, too, we were going to have a few people show up here, and I think they are. Let's go. I would like to show you the staff now that's here saving the buffalo with us, and they're going to tell you a little bit about each other. So
all right.
Come on in.
Hi, my name is Holly. I am going to be an incoming senior at Rutgers, and I am doing an internship in outreach.
Hi, I'm Maya Lee. I am also a rising senior at Rutgers, and my major is ecology, evolution, natural resources. I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to come here at BFC, and I am helping map bison sightings.
Woo! Don't worry about that.
Hi, I'm Lily Paddock. I'm from Boise State University, and I'm originally from Sacramento, California. I'm a public health major, and I'm just here to kind of figure out what my path is and help save our world, help our bison.
Hi, I'm Jacob. Like some of the other people here, I went to Rutgers. I graduated already though, and I'm a volunteer here. That's about it.
I want to tell you this guy, he came for 2 weeks and now he isn't leaving till September 11th. That's how it works.
I enjoy it here and I'm dedicated. So.
Thank you. Sorry. All right.
My name is Drake. I'm a junior in high school from Southern California, and I just came to volunteer and learn about these awesome animals and try and help them.
I'm Sloan, and I'm a youth volunteer here. I'm just a freshman in high school. I'm from California, and I'm so happy to be here volunteering with BFC.
Hi, I'm Joaquin Flores, and I'm a student at Rutgers University, New Brunswick, and I'm interning in outreach here at BFC. Pretty much.
All right.
Hi, I'm Anna Connors. I'm a student at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I'm a senior studying photo and video journalism. And I and my friend Ayas Joshi are here working on a video project with BFC. And we're super excited to be here.
Hi, my name is Ayas Joshi. I'm from Nepal, but I go to school at the University of North Carolina. And as Anna said, I'm majoring in documentary journalism. And we are here working on a video project with BFC. Is this a good time?
And aren't you going to show a piece after this? Yeah.
Okay. So a few months ago, Anna and I received a grant from our school to pursue a documentary project. We knew that we wanted to do something about environmental conservation. And we, through a really winded journey, we arrived here because we believed that the story of BFC was one that deserved to be shared. We found it very compelling. And so we've been here for 1.5 weeks, filming bison, filming patrols, filming all of the great work that the campaign does. And so this afternoon, Mike came up to us and said, why don't we share some of that footage that you took on the live stream? So Anna and I put together about a 1-minute sizzle reel of the newborn calves in the snow. It should be uploaded right after this live stream ends. So if you could go and watch that, we would really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Well, I hope you all can see we got a herd right here. And this herd becomes a family when we spend this kind of time with each other, and the relationships that we have with each other and the relationships that will live far beyond their time at BFC is how we're going to change this world. And you heard all the beautiful things each of these guys are bringing with their hearts. And this is the kind of thing that I hope inspires the world. Look at this diversity in this circle. It's a bunch of beautiful people. This is the next generation that we're going to help teach the tools that we know how to change the world. They're going to help teach us how to change the world in their way. And we're going to change this damn world because everybody deserves a future. So please give if you can. We really appreciate it. And thanks from all of us for giving us the honor to be in the field, to protect the buffalo, to have these experiences, to tell these stories that I was able to tell, is all because of you and your generosity to allow us to be out in that field every day. So from all of us, we're going to give you one hoop and holler and say goodbye and thank you all. Good night.